Dear friends, today is a truly special encounter, and thank you for being here. It's a very, very special meeting, very important. So I will tell you right away, if you know any atheist people, please find a strategy to hold them for a couple of hours and show them this video. And please find this strategy quite quickly because the time is very short. The times we are living in are peculiar times, and in these years, unbelievable events will happen. The impossible will truly happen. The people who understood in 2020 what happened, such a global scenario that spread all over the world, that will be advantaged in understanding the next steps of the elite. Okay? So today I'm going to talk about the Bluebeam project because they are really making really big. To remind you, this is the third encounter I'm doing on the Bluebeam project, but I always remind you that in every encounter I always bring new documents, new videos, different Marian messages, so please take notes. I always tell to everyone, please take notes when you see these videos. And you may subscribe to the Alberto Caccialanza YouTube channel, click the bell. I created a playlist entitled Universo. Watch these videos and always take notes. Then, when we were students at school, we used to take notes maybe on topics that didn't interest us so much. And then in most of the cases, these topics were of no use to us in the real life. Instead, now I deal with extremely interesting topics, and those are indispensable topics for your life and for your eternity. So this is why I insist on saying, please always take notes. The signs that are showing in various parts of the world are very clear, and they make us understand that the Bluebeam project is here. It's manifesting itself. Let us now begin to see the messages of Our Lady in various parts of the world. Jacaré Apparitions of Brazil, message of 2014. Pray a lot, because the danger of another war looms over you without you knowing it. The weapons are being renewed. Luz de Maria, Argentina, 2022. Remain vigilant in all ways, as there are several conflict spots on Earth that will move from words to deeds. Humanity lives in danger due to the modern weapons and armaments that humanity does not know. So in this massive world war that is coming, weapons that we don't know about, renewed weapons, unimaginable weapons will appear. And as always, Marian's messages always find confirmation in what happens then in the reality. So let's start seeing this video. It's very clear.
U.S. Navy tested the world's first laser weapons system the other day. Laser can defend against small rockets, artillery shells and mortars, small unmanned aerial vehicles, small attack boats, and lightweight ground vehicles that are approximately a mile away. Laser also works as a 21st century version of a shot across the bow.
La US Navy, la Marina Militare degli Stati Uniti, è entrata ufficialmente nel futuro. È infatti entrato in servizio il primo cannone laser.
it's windy, and then there's a flash, and I think
Right.
that's when a tree's falling on a power line. The power goes.
In questo video abbiamo visto
In this video, we saw these lasers in China that hit the plants and cut them sharply, cut the trunks. Then we saw the GAO, that means Government Accountability Office. That is, it's an accountability office of the American government, and they said why we have to spend or keep on spending billions and billions on old weapons. Now we have the lasers that can hit with great precision. So let's use these lasers, they said it. Then we saw these laser beams from the sky hitting this car, this house. Then we saw these lasers from the sky of China that were aimed at the territory of Japan. And the Blue Beam project, we are talking about it today, it means actually a Blue Ray project. And not by chance, before the earthquake in Turkey and the earthquake in Morocco, the Blue Beam was seen. Some particular blue lights were spotted. It may be a coincidence, maybe just a coincidence. And foremost, on August 17th of this year, a fire broke out on the island of Maui and approximately 300 people died, but very, very particular circumstances occurred. That is, to the fighters and the civilians who wanted to extinguish the fire, the water they used is stopped pumping. Then the water was no longer running. Then the fire alarm didn't go off. And then they filmed it in this video that we just saw about the island of Maui, these blue rays that hit the houses from the sky. And then, with a CCTV camera, again on the island of Maui, and well, if it's a CCTV camera or surveillance camera, it means that it's a very reliable, serious video. It showed such blue light that caused the fire, and I repeat, it's called Blue Beam Project, Blue Ray Project. But one could be an obstinate opponent and say, well, these videos can be manipulated now with all the apps that are available. So now let's observe this image here on the left, always on the island of Maui, the fire, and then we can see the houses that have been completely incinerated, and the trees nearby are just green, intact, they are green. And what a coincidence, even in the fire that occurred in Paradise County in California 2018, there are incinerated houses and nearby green intact trees. Then we come back to the island of Maui. We can see these buildings, these intact warehouses, this house that hasn't been touched, and this car that hasn't been touched either, and everything around it. What do we see? All around we see these incinerated houses. Again on the island of Maui, we then saw the cars on fire. The rings were melted, exactly as it happened in the Paradise County fire 2018 California. That is, the burnt cars have their rims completely melted. In the normal fires, These cannot melt the rims of a car with normal flames. So what happened on the island of Maui was a totally provoked, organized fire, and it was actually made from laser beams that precisely hit these cars and houses. They made a fine mess, eh? They really made a big mess. Revelation 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. That is, the false prophet, when he will manifest himself, will maketh fire come down from the sky to earth. On the island of Maui, we saw these laser beams that hit the houses and cars. That means the fire came down from the sky to the ground. So all these signs make us understand that the power of the Antichrist is present on this world, and make us understand that the Antichrist will manifest himself in a while. Here we are. Let's recall what Father Malachi Martin told us. All the fury of hell will be left free to unleash itself on earth, to try to dethrone Christ the King, to establish Satan through the Antichrist. Cardinal Agostino Bea was at the highest levels of the Church and knew the secret of Fatima, and also knew Father Malachi Martin too. Then one day they met each other, and Cardinal Agostino Bea explained to him, described the third secret of Fatima. Then Father Malachi Martin spoke about it publicly and said openly, publicly. He said, in the third secret of Fatima, it is written that it will happen, it will come a great world war where unimaginable weapons will be used. And all this scenario will happen when Jesus Christ will be dethroned and when the Antichrist power will emerge. And now what we have seen? Now we have seen the war in Russia, which is the war indicated in Fatima, of course, the war where Russia is involved, and we have seen these laser beams hitting the island of Maui, so those unimaginable weapons. So we have all the elements to say that this last great war is coming, and that in a little while the Antichrist, the son of perdition, will manifest himself. Carbonia, Apparitions in Sardinia 2010. The truth is about to emerge. The world will soon know the true face of Satan. It is the saddest hour. It's the sunset hour of humanity. Luz de Maria 2023. It's a recent message. Even if you are hearing about disasters, wars and natural events, the struggle is above all at spiritual level. The door is being opened to the Antichrist, who is pouring out his evil on humanity in preparation for his public manifestation. So, I already told you, everything that is happening is completely organized, planned to perfection, with the aim and to ensure that later on the Antichrist will manifest himself as a savior and the solver of all problems. So, to understand how it will occur, the manifestation of the Antichrist, let's look at the sacred texts, what kind of clues they give us. Isaiah 14. I ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be similar to the Most High. This passage is very important, that is, Satan wants to be similar to the Most High. So he is an imitator of God. He wants to imitate God. So, to understand how the manifestation of the Antichrist will take place, let's look at how the manifestation of Jesus Christ will take place, the second coming of Jesus. Okay? Jacaré, Brazil 2012. My divine Son told those you lay to be coming on the clouds of the sky, and confirmed here too that is already upon us. Yes, the love is returning to you. Carbonia 2016. Soon a light will light up in the sky, and it will shine brighter than all the stars, and will be the morning star of who returns to visit their people. Jesus will return on the clouds, but in other messages it is also written that he will return on the stars. In our sacred texts it is written that Ezekiel himself had seen a cloud, and this cloud had been described as a wheel with other wheels inside, with other circles inside, so a flying saucer. And in the Gospel it is clearly written that a star appeared, therefore a globe of light, which moved in an intelligent way in the sky and accompanied the wise men towards the hut where Jesus was born. Then, what do the actual Christian paintings show us? We see here Our Lady with St. John, 15th century. We see a flying saucer behind the head of Our Lady, and we see the shepherd and the dog looking curiously towards the flying saucer, which appears to be solid, grey, consistent material. We then look at the baptism of Christ, Art de Gelder, 1710. We see a disc of light projecting light towards Jesus during the baptism. It is clear, so Jesus will return with these particular clouds that can manifest themselves in a solid state, but also in a state of light, because they can change their frequencies, their vibration, as and when they want. Satan is an imitator of God. Therefore, in the Blue Beam project, when the manifestation of the Antichrist is about to come, we shall see some spaceships. In fact, last time I spoke to you about the Nazis who were patenting spaceships, flying saucers. Then we were still in a conference in Turin. I showed you these flying saucers that the Americans were patenting in the 1950s. Then, in the next video that I will make about the Blue Beam project, I will tell you about the anti-gravity propulsion that John Hutchinson had patented, and I will show you also some important videos about it. And then I will also show you, I will tell you about the anti-gravity propulsion that Viktor Grebennikov had experimented with. I will show you then some very interesting videos. Then many people, hundreds of people, testified that they have seen flying objects in the skies near the Area 51. There were objects that did not make any noise, therefore they were going with the anti-gravity propulsion. So, those powerful who don't love us, they already have these spaceships, they already have these flying saucers. And we may formulate possible theories that maybe can shoot lightnings. Let's see this video now.
The European media CBN News announced that its military sources in Ukraine confirmed that a spaceship fired a beam at one of the Russian troops' convoy, destroying some of them. A column of fire in the night confused the Russian troops, opening the question, Ukrainians are receiving heavenly help. There was like a spaceship attack, with some kind of lightning that shot from the sky and sparks spread everywhere. In the morning, people discovered that all Russian troops was destroyed. All the Ukrainian soldiers thought it was an attack with a weapon we don't know, or that it was just God's intervention. In this video we can see a convoy of destroyed military vehicles. These are images from March 5th, in the city of Kharkiv. What is difficult to believe is that a single plane was capable of destroying so many military vehicles. However, what is said is that an unidentified flying object was responsible of this destruction. Information that has not yet been verified. On the other hand, this video reports the downing of a Russian plane by, likewise, an unidentified flying object. This UFO would have shot down the Russian plane yesterday, March 6th, creating a great speculation of what could have been.
A certain special UFO on 22nd of March 2022 showed up in Ukraine during the war and destroyed a convoy, a group of Russian military trucks. It destroyed them. It was also published an article about this fact that we can see here. Title is An Attack by an Alien Spaceship, the Incredible Testimonies of the War in Ukraine. And we can see here the images. CBN News interviewed an Ukrainian soldier, and the soldier said, "We saw a spaceship that sent out lightning." And what does the lightning remind us of? It reminds us of the laser beams that hit the island of Maui. It sent out a bolt of lightning that hit all the Russian trucks and destroyed them. The Ukrainian soldier was quite emotional and said, "We soldiers have never seen such a weapon, and we think that God intervened to help us. Instead, I think that an unknown and unimaginable weapon intervened, which earlier Our Lady mentioned in her messages. So this spaceship that showed up in a war in Ukraine is not from the universe, but comes from the secret bases. It's a weapon that the Illuminati have in their hands. Let's brainstorm about it with calm." Luz de Maria, 2017. Pray for the United States. They would suffer. These people would suffer because the sin abounds over there, and my son is constantly crucified. Trevignano Romano, Apparitions in Rome, you all know them, 2021. My children, pray for America, which will pay a high price. It has rejected God and turned its back on Him, despite my continuous appeals. Giampilieri, Apparitions in Sicily, 2003. America, I predict decadence to you. You will fall into disgrace like the Roman Empire. You, America, are responsible for many innocent victims, children, the elderly, the sick. You will shed a sea of blood and you will be forgotten by me. The ocean waves will become foam. They will rise and fall on dry land. What America have done? They armed the Ukraine, they financed Ukraine. America had put fighter bombers, strategic missiles with nuclear warheads on the territory of Poland, Estonia, and Lithuania, therefore all close to Russia. Then the situation became tense in Ukraine when when the Americans walked into the Ukrainian territory, there is. When Victoria Nuland and John McCain went to Ukraine, the situation there became very tense. So, in such a war in Ukraine, the cannon fodder are the Ukrainians, Ukrainian boys, young Ukrainians. But those who ignited the situation are the American secret services. Then, however, Russia is also part of it. It's in line with this Antichrist plan. But that's another matter. Let's leave it there right now. Then we heard Biden and the former American General Ben Hodges, who had threatened to use nuclear weapons against Russia if necessary. And America has placed hundreds and hundreds of nuclear warheads in Europe. The two nations that have the most American nuclear warheads on their territory are Italy and Germany. And the superior brothers, the real ones, the actual ones, are totally against the use of nuclear energy. In fact, their mission here in this world consists in this, in warning us about the danger of self-destruction we are facing. I've done specifically 3 meetings to elaborate this topic. They continue to warn us for this reason, and they are here and they are watching at us for this very reason. Then, what America did do? They organized the attack to the Twin Towers, that of September 11th. They made up the terrorism. They financed the terrorism. In fact, the Pakistani Islamic extremist Joseph al-Salafi had said publicly, the Americans paid me to train young Muslims and make them become terrorists. He said that openly. Then we saw the photo where there are John McCain, an American, together with al-Baghdadi, who was the leader of the Islamic extremism. And then America organized the war in Iraq, in Syria. We know that. Then America is degenerating in every respect. Now, they spoke about creating artificial animal meat from the animal cells. From the animal cell, they want to create artificial meat. Then we saw in a kindergarten in America that they taught the lesson with a non-binary doll because they wanted to teach the children, they begin to teach the children that there is no sex difference between male and female. And again in America they spoke about using substances to block puberty, hormonal development, so in the meantime the children can decide which sex they belong to. So America is spreading the concept in the minds of the new generation that everyone can choose their sex as they wish and like. Then in Boston, in America, they organized the official satanic gathering, official, authorized. Then there was the monument in Georgia, the Georgia Guidestones, with the 10 laws of the Great World Government that is coming, and one of these laws says that they must level humanity, bringing it to 500 million. And various American presidents spoke about this great world government that is coming and that there is the necessity to get into this great world government. But as we know, the Antichrist will be the head of this great world government. So it's clear, right? America is totally Antichrist, is totally Antichrist. In fact, Our Lady in these messages, what did she say? America will be totally forgotten by God when these natural disasters will come and when it will be hit by wars and great persecutions, precisely because America is a power that has sold itself to the devil. Now, let's take a step back. We saw this spaceship that showed up in Ukraine and bombed Russian trucks, so we can also say that it fought in favor of America and Ukraine. But the angels of God, the real ones, the actual ones who come from the universe, they do not fight on behalf of America. So this spaceship that showed up in Ukraine and bombed the Russian trucks is a weapon that the secret services have in their hands. So it's a weapon of the Illuminati. Do you realize what's happening? And now maybe someone could say, but well, maybe these Russian trucks have bombed, or they were trying to attack the spaceship, so the spaceship in defense counterattacked and bombed the Russian trucks. Well, this is not the case. Let's see why.
Captain Huertas of the Peruvian Air Force. In 1980, Huertas says, a strange flying object was seen floating by over 1,800 soldiers in the sky above the Peruvian base of Arequipa. The commander of my unit ordered me to take off in my Sukhoi 22 jet to shoot at the spherical object, as it was in forbidden space, without permission, and we feared espionage. I approached the object and fired 64 30mm howitzers. Some bullets ended up on the ground, others hit the object directly, but to no avail. The bullets did not ricochet. They were probably absorbed. The cone-shaped wall of fire I sent at it was supposed to destroy everything on its path. Twice more I had the object in my sights, while it was stationary in the sky, but each time it moved away at the last moment, before I fired. At that point I got closer to the object. Within 100 meters it was about 10 meters in diameter, enameled with a cream-colored dome, with a large, circular metal base. It had no engines, exhaust pipes, windows, wings, or antennas. It lacked all the typical elements of an aircraft, and had no visible propulsion system. It was at that moment that I realized that this was not an espionage object, but a UFO. Something completely unknown. After I landed, the object remained suspended in the sky for another 2 hours, under the gaze of everyone on the base. I still get shivers thinking about it.
We saw that a spaceship appeared, a flying saucer, with a diameter of 10 meters, that had no doors, hatches, antennas, wings, nothing. With a diameter of 10 meters, it manifested itself above a military base in Peru. And Oscar Santa Maria Huertas, the one who gave the testimony, was a pilot of the Peruvian Air Force. He took his plane, the Sukhoi 22 jet. He went towards this flying saucer. He fired huge bullets with a diameter of 30 millimeters, and this flying saucer did not move. It remained there still, and these bullets did not ricochet. What happened? Such disc absorbed these bullets. Then the disc moved, it went upwards, the pilot tried to follow it, he couldn't hit it, nothing to do. Then he landed, he was scared, seeing the power of this large object, this flying saucer, and such flying object, the flying saucer, remained in the sky for 2 hours in front of 1,800 soldiers who were there, staying in that military base. These are the actual angels of God. This is a spaceship that truly comes from the universe. So, If an army tries to bomb these actual, true spaceships, it doesn't do anything to them. They have superior power. Even Robert Salas has testified that a cloud, that is a flying saucer, had turned off, deactivated 10 nuclear warheads. They are extremely superior than us. So, the true flying saucers, the true spaceships that come from the universe, are certainly not in favor of Ukraine and or America, and they don't even bomb the Russian trucks to defend themselves. Because the weapons that the Russian trucks have in their hands don't even tickle to these saucers. Therefore, these flying saucers are not supposed to counterattack. They are not attacking and destroying the Russian trucks. Then, we look at another coincidence. The Russian trucks that were destroyed by the firelight that the flying saucer had sent out from the skies of Ukraine during the war are destroyed exactly like the cars on the island of Maui, which were hit by laser beams in the Maui fire. So, it looks clear to me the spaceship that manifested itself in Ukraine during the war is indeed a secret weapon that the Illuminati have in their hands. It doesn't come from the universe, but it's a secret weapon from the Illuminati that the Illuminati, the secret services, have in their hands. And we will see many of these particular spaceships during the Bluebeam project. Hebrews 13. Don't forget the hospitality. Some, by practicing it, have welcomed angels without knowing it. Saint Paul had said, by practicing hospitality, you hosted angels without knowing it. So it means that the angels also manifested themselves through a body made of flesh and blood equal to ours. So in fact, in Genesis, it's written that in Sodom and Gomorrah, the two angels went to Lot's house, and what did they do? They ate, they drank, they washed their feet, and the inhabitants of Sodom and Gomorrah, who were perverts, wanted to abuse them. So these angels had their lower backs in the flesh. Isaiah 60. Who are these that fly along like clouds, like doves to their nests? Who are these? Who is this? It is spoken about a human being. So Isaiah said who these men are, but meant also angels, because I told you that angels also manifested themselves with a physical appearance equal to ours. So who are these angels who they fly like clouds? The clouds are flying saucers. So Isaiah told us that there are angels, let's make these connections, who fly in the sky with these flying saucers. Psalm 103. The Lord has established his throne in heaven, and his kingdom embraces the universe. Bless the Lord, all you, his angels, powerful executors of his commands. Bless the Lord, all his hosts, his ministers, who do his will. Carbonia 2022. Prepare yourselves for the great event that will manifest itself in the skies. My return is anticipated. The Father has decreed his consent. The Son will now descend to earth. Behold, he comes with his celestial procession to manifest his glory. Luz de Maria 2012. My Son returns in his second coming. He comes with the power of heaven amidst his mighty legions, to be felt in the heavens and on earth. He is accompanied by those who live with him in the heights and who submit to his will, being one with him. The angels come from the kingdom of God, which embraces the universe, and Jesus will return with all his legions, therefore with his angels and with these celestial ships that come from the universe. Let's go back to the previous topic. Satan is an imitator of God. So, during the Blue Beam project, we will see spaceships manifesting, but we will also see men appearing who will say they come from a planet that exists in the universe. And I already told you last time that these humans will be human clones created in the secret bases. Don't be surprised. They are, in fact, I can assure you. Then, in the Gospel, it is written that angels have always, since ancient times, traveled in our skies with these clouds, these flying saucers, and the angels have always been among us. Since ancient times, they have manifested themselves among us, even with a body in flesh and blood. I told you before. Satan is an imitator of God. So, in the Blue Beam project, these humanoids who will manifest themselves, they will say that they have been always among us since ancient times. And what must happen beforehand? Firstly, there must be archaeological discoveries occurring, because the Blue Beam project have 4 phases. And in the first phase, it is written that there must be archaeological discoveries to deceive humanity. And in fact, now, on September 12th of this year, Mr. Mausan, well, don't be confused, he's a good person who is also very sensitive. In fact, I extracted from his channel the various videos of the spaceships that I'm showing you in my conferences. Those videos have been analyzed and verified. He's doing all possible to bring out the truth about the universe and his inhabitants, so he's a good person. However, on September 12, 2023, Mausan exhibited 2 alien bodies at the Mexican Parliament. Specific analyses were carried out, that is, carbon-14 dating and DNA testing, and they found that those are 2 reptilian bodies, extraterrestrials. They have a DNA that is 30% different from ours, which does not come from this world, and they are 1,000 years old. They are approximately 1,000 years old. They were found in Peru near the Nazca lines in a mine with a diatom dust that preserved, dried the bodies and sterilized them, so they were not attacked by germs and external parasites. This test was conducted by the University of Mexico, and they didn't say it's a fake. It's not true that they say it's a fake. They didn't say it's a fake. They didn't comment on whether they are extraterrestrials or not. And then some tests were also carried out by the University, I assume, of St. Petersburg. And, well, this situation did not convince me at all. Because in my opinion, the secret services are behind it. Why? There are coincidences that we cannot disregard. These 2 bodies in Peru were found in 2017. Then they were presented at the parliament in Mexico in 2023, but they were found in 2017. 2017 is the year when the power began to launch its notifications about the Blue Beam project in a massive way. These are the bodies. And in fact, in December 2017, for the first time, there is also the article available, for the very first time, the military power, the Pentagon, they contacted the New York Times and said publicly that they have a secret program to study the alien threat, about the UFOs, about the alien threat. And they said it for the very first time in 2017. Let's see this video.
There will be announced some great news, discoveries, which will cause confusion. The Blue Beam project consists also of archaeological finds, concocted ad hoc according to the will of the Antichrist. So there will be some archaeological discoveries in favor of the Antichrist, with archaeological discoveries created purposely to confirm what they say. In July of this year, Maria was discovered in Peru near the Nazca Plateau, and several Russian researchers participated in the analyses. She is a woman approximately 168 centimeters tall, her skull is slightly elongated, very small nose. She has a complete absence of auricles. The authenticity of the mummy is already confirmed as shown by the X-rays. In addition to her skeleton, there is the presence of remains of internal organs. It is not a fake. Who was this woman and why was her body on the Nazca Plateau, one of the most mysterious places on the planet?
In 2017, and I repeat, that 2017 is the year when the powers began to launch their notifications about the Blue Beam project in a massive way. On 2017 July, again in Peru, near the Nazca lines, they found a female mummy 168 centimeters tall. Russian researchers carried out analysis on this mummy and found that this woman still had internal organs present, had a very small nose, had no ears, and had a slightly elongated skull. So we can say it's an extraterrestrial woman. And again, by chance, they found it on 2017. Let's look at Biden. There's also the article available. Long story short, he signed a law that lays down rules that determine how the findings of flying saucers and extraterrestrials, alien bodies must be managed. That is in 2021. It's a recent fact. Then, let's see here David Grush. This is the article. Non-human biological remains found as the former 007 Grush's UFO theories reached the US Congress. According to David Grush, the United States has known about alien activity since 1930s. David Grush was part of the American intelligence, so from whom these statements come from, we have to think about it. And in July of this year, he said that the American government already had possession of extraterrestrial flying saucers since decades. They have recovered flying saucers, extraterrestrials, and they also have the remains of extraterrestrial biological bodies, non-human, he said, non-human. And he said he will also give evidences. He will also bring proofs on what he said as well. Then, Ryan Graves and David Fravor, they are Navy pilots, they confirmed what David Grush said, that is, that alien spaceships have been recovered and that they have the remains of extraterrestrial biological bodies. So, it's very clear. The power is clearly notifying that there are the extraterrestrials and there are these extraterrestrial bodies. Why they are reporting this? Because they want the public to see them, right? That's the reason I state this, that is, the two alien bodies that were presented to the parliament in Mexico did not convince me at all, and the secret services are behind it in my opinion. Then I asked myself this, in one of the two bodies that I presented to the parliament in Mexico, this body was a female extraterrestrial and she had eggs inside her body with a fetus, and so that fetus was dead too. But I ask myself, I don't want to provoke anyone, but I ask myself, if an extraterrestrial civilization comes to this world, it is supposed to be much more advanced than us. If a female extraterrestrial wants to give birth to the little extraterrestrials, she will have all the technology and evolution to complete the pregnancy. But instead, this fetus was died. So I ask myself, these are accidents that can happen to a poorly evolved society like ours, but not to an extraterrestrial society that is more advanced. That is just my guessing. That is just my opinion. Then I showed you my videos. I've been saying for years and years that there will emerge purposefully created archaeological discoveries. And I've been always telling you that the Antichrist's ultimate plan is to manipulate humanity regarding the matter of the universe and its inhabitants. So it looks quite normal to me that now the powerful present us with alien bodies. It's normal that they show us that there are these extraterrestrial archaeological discoveries and they show us alien bodies, even pregnant ones, because they want us to believe in their own way, because obviously they want to deceive us, but they want us to believe in their own way that aliens have been always among us. Now, let's watch this video.
So, together with a briefcase with the nuclear codes, the President of Russia is also given another special folder, on which it is written top secret. This dossier is entirely dedicated to the extraterrestrials who have visited our planet. There is also an absolutely confidential report from the secret services regarding the presence of aliens on the territory of our country. These two dossiers are delivered together with the nuclear briefcase. Then, once the presidential mandate is over, these folders are passed to the new president.
Are they among us?
I cannot say how many are among us. It could cause panic.
Medvedev made this statement pretending not to be in the frame, not to be recorded. And he said, the Russian presidents, they all had a briefcase with nuclear codes inside, but in this briefcase there are also documents that speak about extraterrestrials who are visiting us. They have visited us and they are still on our planet. But then he added, in these documents it's also written where the alien bases are. where the alien bases are. Therefore, they've always been among us, and he said it. Actually, they are among us. They are among us. So it's very clear, the power is notifying that they are among us. And Our Lady in Fatima, what did she say? Satan will have the powerful in his power, all of them, and will determine the course of things. So why do the powerful now show us these alien bodies, tell us about extraterrestrials, saying that they are among us? Carbonia 2017. Soon you will know the one who will come, saying, He is my son. But truly, truly, I say to you, pay attention to his words and pay attention to his gestures, because they do not come from me. The Antichrist will manifest himself as a Jesus, but not the Jesus who died on the cross. He will manifest himself as a Jesus, as a Messiah, as a God. And there is no one above God. There is no one. Therefore, these fake aliens that will manifest during the Bluebeam project will say that their leader is the Antichrist. So there will be this battle, I told you about it last time, between fake good aliens and fake bad aliens. The fake good aliens shall win, and they will present us with the Antichrist as a leader. And there are also notifications. That is, in Arthur Clarke's book, The Sunset Guides, it is written about an extraterrestrial civilization coming to our world, bringing salvation, but which has a demon leader. And who is the savior demon? He is the Antichrist. Then, in episode number 10 of Elohim Alarm, we see an alien leader who is a demon. He is actually red with horns, and he proposes salvation to humanity. Who is the demon savior? He is the Antichrist. Who is the demon savior? He is the Antichrist. Then, in the episodes of Stargate Millennium, we see an alien demon Messiah who manifests himself as the god of Egypt with an androgynous appearance, therefore the Antichrist. Then the film The Master of Evil narrates of a demon alien Messiah. Then, what did Saint Paul say? When the son of perdition will manifest himself, everyone will praise him except, of course, the elect. All humanity will praise him. And now, various people have asked me if the Antichrist will be the famous mask or will be Trump's brother-in-law, for example. No. Why do I say no? Because if it's too tied to the Western world, it cannot be praised by the Eastern world. If he is too tied to the Eastern world, he will not be praised by the West. So the kind of Antichrist that will manifest will not be too tied to the Western world or too much to the Eastern world. So he will be an alien Antichrist. And everything matches. I'll give you the proof. John 17. I gave them your word, and the word hated them, because they are not of the word, just as I'm not of the word. Put the strings here. What did Jesus say? I'm not of the world. Satan is an imitator of God. Therefore, the Antichrist will also present himself as not of this world, an alien Antichrist. So the Bluebeam project is necessary that the Blue Beam Project will take place before the manifestation of the Antichrist. Luz de Maria, 2021. You have accepted everything you are told without thinking about it. They have limited you in your actions and ways of living because they are preparing you for the public manifestation of the Antichrist. People of God, the elite has been governing humanity from behind the scenes for a long time. Carbonia 2017. My people are attacked by the falsehood of an unscrupulous man, ready to mark the end of my story to bring in the Antichrist. Mark the end of my story. Oliveto Citra Salerno 2020. The hand of the Most High sent me among you to indicate the path to follow in this world of darkness. Satan wants to make the world forget the most important day in history of man since creation, the birth of the Messiah. So, the elite have been ruling this world since a long time. And everything that happens is planned in advance. They have a script of events that must unfold, all planned, that must lead to a goal. Their goal is to definitively remove Jesus Christ from this world, the image, the figure of Jesus Christ from this world, and present the Antichrist, the figure of the Antichrist. Of course, one step at a time. One step at a time. In Overton's window, maybe you have heard about it, the power leads the human mass to accept evil, to accept the unacceptable one step at a time. In fact, we have seen that in 2020 a certain global scenario has spread, and one step at a time they have led humanity to do unbelievable things, to do absolutely unbelievable things. And furthermore, the human mass now don't look kindly upon people who tell the truth, who should be applauded, so to speak. So, one step at a time. Now, what's on? We look at all the events. In 2017, the military power began to speak publicly about the alien threat since 2017. Then now we saw Fiorello in that little black square box that we have at home, who saw the flying saucer live, and everyone was amazed, even the others who were there around him. Then we got Medvedev stating aliens are among us. Biden signed a law that establishes how the findings of flying saucers and alien bodies should be managed. Then, in 2017, they found this extraterrestrial female alien mummy. Then they presented in 2023 these two alien bodies to the Parliament of Mexico. So they are clearly notifying such that extraterrestrials are among us, to put this seed, to put this information into the mind of humanity, because now they are preparing the Blue Beam Project, where the fake good aliens will fight against the fake bad aliens, and then the fake good aliens who will present the Antichrist will say that they were our creators, as the elite must completely change the history. So, now, what other steps will come? What other steps does the elite have in plan? We can guess it. That is, they will present other alien bodies. Then perhaps they will announce a discovery of a piece of a flying saucer which is made of a material that does not exist in this world, and perhaps they will carry out tests at various universities in the world, and certainly they will also make archaeological discoveries to deny the messianicity of Jesus Christ, because they have to change the history. Let's see this video.
When Maitreya declares himself openly to the world, when he is invited to do so by all the world's media, he's accepted, he has presented his credentials, and they said, well, right, come on, tell the world your story, your call. He will mentally overshadow, he's omniscient and omnipresent, and he will mentally overshadow all of humanity simultaneously. He will come into telepathic rapport with each individual in the world. And each of us will hear him inwardly, silently, in our own language, as if he was speaking directly to us, which in fact he will be.
We saw in this video Benjamin Cream, who is the spokesperson for the Maitreya. The Maitreya is the Messiah of the New Age. That is, we can say, the Antichrist. This man said, when the Maitreya, that is the Antichrist, will manifest himself, he will teach a new story. He will talk about a new story. He will teach us a new story. And in fact, in the famous card game, Illuminati, very famous, of 1995, we can see this card, which is from 1995. We can see the Twin Towers hit. And after 6 years, incredibly, this event happened in reality on 2001. And look at the two images, they look practically the same. It's incredible. And in this game, always in this game, there is the card with rewriting history written on it. So, dear friends, they are really messing things up big. They are truly crapping a big apple. Valeria Copponi, apparitions in Rome. I also did an interview with her, 2014. Look up if you want to be part of my kingdom. Don't be satisfied with what the world can offer you, because it won't be enough for you, neither now nor never. Remember that you were created in our image and likeness, and if you fail to maintain your divine features, then you will be as good as dead. We were created in the image and likeness of God. Satan is an imitator of God. Therefore, in the context of the Bluebeam project, the fake aliens will manifest themselves. They will say that they are our creators who created us genetically. In fact, the New Age tells us exactly this. For example, there is the story about the planet Nibiru, which was populated by the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki had a damaged atmosphere on their planet. Consequently, they had climate changes, famine. They needed some gold dust to repair the atmosphere of their planet. So they took slave aliens, brought them to planet Earth, because it was a planet where there was a large amount of gold. With these slave aliens, they made them dig for gold. After that, the aliens, the enslaved aliens rebelled, then the Anunnaki destroyed them, and then genetically created a human race on this world to mine the gold, to go on mining the gold. So this is the New Age version. Then the aliens, they are also a New Age movement. I don't want to offend anyone. They should be very good people for goodness sake. But what did they tell us? That we human beings, we don't have a soul. And they also tell us that in a little while, men will appear who come from another planet in the universe, and they will tell us the true story. They will tell us that we were created by them genetically. Okay? So this is the New Age version. So now the fake aliens who will manifest themselves in the Blue Beam Project, that will say that they created us genetically and they created everything genetically, everything that surrounds us, vegetables and animals, because they have to change history. And then they will say that Muhammad, Zarathustra, Krishna, Buddha and other religious figures were only their messengers, and that the leader of all of them is the Antichrist Messiah. So they have to prepare a world scenario for the Antichrist, so they are really messing things up. And now I will give you other proofs essential to understand what's happening. Matthew 24. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and we shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Trevignano Romano 2017. Soon the earth will tremble, announcing the return of Christ, and the echo of his powerful voice, like a trumpet, will be heard throughout the world. Carbonia 2015. The trumpets of my angels will now sound to warn my people of my arrival. The teeth of those who have done so much harm will gnash. El Escorial Apparitions in Spain 1981. The trumpets are about to sound. Woe to him who is not ready when he hears these sounds. Therefore, before the return of Christ, before the purification, the trumpets of the apocalypse will sound, which will create a certain fear in the humanity. Satan is an imitator of God. St. Ambrose, 4th century prophecy. The Antichrist will attempt to prove from Scripture that he is the Christ. Therefore, Satan is an imitator of God, but Satan is also an imitator of the Scriptures. So, to better understand the events that will accompany the manifestation of the Antichrist, we must see the events that will anticipate the manifestation of Jesus Christ. Okay? So, before the manifestation of Satan, there might be trumpets, sounds from the sky. Okay? Of apocalyptic trumpets. Let's see this video.
Escuche con atención el misterioso sonido que fue reportado desde Australia.
You can hear that, right? Yeah, what is it? I've got no idea. It is strange. We're up at Bonnie Down.
El intrigante sonido fue documentado por un desconcertado grupo de visitantes que acampaban en el lago Isham, al noroeste de Australia, la tarde del 29 de junio del 2023.
It's aliens. It almost sounds like a plane. It's not a plane. What is that?
La investigación denomina este fenómeno como las trompetas del apocalipsis. Sin embargo, en este caso en particular, en el análisis logramos detectar que este se escucha diferente a los que tradicionalmente han sido registrados en todo el mundo. Previamente, la noche del 23 de marzo del 2023, residentes de la ciudad de Duisburg, en Alemania, reportaron un gran y estridente sonido proveniente del cielo, el cual, sin la menor duda, se trata de las trompetas del Apocalipsis. También se ha dado a conocer otra intrigante grabación registrada en el transcurso del mes de enero del 2023 en el municipio de Sevilla, en España, en donde el estrujante sonido de las trompetas del Apocalipsis incluso generó que la gente que transitaba por la zona se alejara atemorizada por la repentina manifestación de esta señal.
In this video, in Australia, we heard this prolonged noise and these trumpets, this noise of trumpets in the sky. Then, in Germany, Duisburg, in March of this year, they heard a noise of apocalyptic trumpets in the sky. And also in Spain, they heard in the sky such noise of apocalyptic trumpets, and people even got scared. They ran away. So Satan is an imitator of God. So we heard the trumpets in imitation of those of the apocalypse. It's starting to happen. And in fact, in the Bluebeam project, it's actually spoken about these sounds that must manifest themselves in the skies. It's written in the stages of the Bluebeam project. Then, the sound is a form of vibration, and with antennas in the atmosphere, they can create vibrations and therefore sounds, noises, and they actually are doing so. Luz de Maria 2014, Argentina. Prepare yourselves. The Antichrist will soon come on stage publicly and will take by surprise those who have denied this fact. They will be confused and deceived by the false miracles, through which he will attract an even greater number of followers. Carbonia 2014. The Antichrist will manifest himself saying he is me. His miracles will drag many men to him. Maria Valtorta, as the Father gave me all power, so Satan has given him, the Antichrist, all the power. In his unbridled ambition, he will find still too little help. Beware here, he will still find the supernatural help from Satan too scarce, and will seek other help from the enemies of Christ. So, Satan the Antichrist will manifest himself aided by the enemies of God, therefore by the Illuminati, with these antennas, with these vibrations, with these sounds in the atmosphere, noises, apocalyptic trumpets in the atmosphere, with these holograms, with these spaceships created in the secret bases that also emit lightning, and with these humanoid clones. But Maria Valtorta, what did she tell us? That he will also be helped by Satan himself. By Satan. Let's try to understand. Carbonia 2022. It's the hour of darkness, my children. It's Satan's hour. He has come out of his cell with all his demons, and they are unleashed on the streets of this world. The air is infested with evil. The Antichrist will manifest itself with a collaboration of these demonic entities. And, well, there are the demons. They are present throughout the world. They are energy, because they feed on our low-level thoughts. So demons are energy. and they can be detected exactly with the detectors of electromagnetic fields and EMF waves. So either you believe it or not, but they are there and they have total power, they have total dominion over the laws of physics, nature and space-time. In fact, a friend of mine, his name is Carlo Lenci, and he lives in Peru. He has a massive experience in this field. He's truly an exorcist. He saw very particular phenomena. That is, you have seen possessed people, he told me so, who have walked on the walls. You have seen a little girl that walked on the ceiling with her feet stomping on the ceiling, her head facing downwards. He saw a possessed person who lost 20 kilos in a time frame of few minutes. Then he saw some animals with broken necks, bent at 90 degrees and walking calmly. He saw people with changing faces. They changed their appearance and they took the face of a wolf, of an animal. Therefore, the demons have total dominion over the laws of nature, of physics. And my friend from Peru, he told me, in his opinion, these entities are presenting such sensational phenomena here in South America that are not often seen in Europe, but they are manifesting those here in South America because it's as they were trading, because then one day they have to manifest them in Italy and Europe when the Antichrist will manifest itself. He told me this in his opinion, but in fact, in any case, the Antichrist will manifest himself with the support of all these demonic entities. Then, the demons can also possess a building, a house. So those are called infestation cases. When a house is infested, what does it happen? That, for example, a door opens and closes by itself. A light turns on and off by itself. Electromagnetic fields are absorbed. The microwave cooker turns on and off by itself. There are very strong temperature changes. Hot, cold, cold to hot. Or you can also see the hands of a clock starting to spin wildly. Let's see this video.
Observe con atención lo que sucedió con estos relojes.
Aquí en el hospital y todos los relojes se pusieron a girar como locos. Todos los relojes coordinadamente, todos girando. Oh, qué acuático. Sí, porque todos juntos, eso es lo raro, que todos juntos estén girando, pues.
Este misterioso evento ocurrió en la sala de espera de un hospital en la nación sudamericana de Chile la noche del 26 de noviembre del 2022. Hasta este momento no existen elementos que permitan explicar cómo fue que las manecillas de los segunderos de 6 relojes repentinamente comenzaron a girar de manera descontrolada y a gran velocidad. ¿Se tratará acaso de alguna especie de mensaje? ¿Otra falla de la realidad en donde el tiempo se ve alterado?
We saw in this hospital in Chile that the hands of all these clocks started spinning wildly, all the clocks. In cases of infestation of a structure of a house, this phenomena occur, and such phenomena can manifest also when the Antichrist will appear openly. Then, I specifically showed you the Saint Gottardo ritual. It is the infamous ritual where the goat mates with the red goddess and the child is born the son of Satan, who would be the Antichrist. What did we hear? They were chanting the Gloria. You remember, don't you? They sang Gloria. Matthew 24. They will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with great power and glory. Jesus will return with power and glory. Therefore, the glory indicates the manifestation of Jesus Christ, the Messiah. Satan is an imitator of God. Satan is an imitator of God. So at the San Gottardo ritual, they were singing the Gloria. They were staging and representing actually the manifestation of the Antichrist. It's very clear. And when they sang the Gloria, therefore when they were staging, representing the manifestation of the Antichrist, we saw that these particular characters, representing the powerful ones of the world, they knelt down, therefore they were praising the Antichrist. Trevignano Romano 2021. Beloved children, a man will soon arrive who will be praised by the powerful of all the nations. But he will be the Antichrist. This time is now near. Exactly. The powerful will hail the Antichrist. Therefore, the Saint Gottardo ritual indicates the next manifestation of the Antichrist. It is clear, well, it's evident. And while they were singing the Gloria, while these powerful characters were kneeling, therefore while they were representing the manifestation of the Antichrist, what did we see? That on the screen there was a clock with the hands going crazy, wildly. This is a sign that when the Antichrist will manifest, the laws of space and time, physics and nature will be suspended, thanks to the intervention of these demonic entities. In fact, even Father Tomaselli, who was an exorcist, he was a spiritual son of Father Pio, he said that these demonic entities have total control over the laws of nature, physics, and the space and time. And beware, they can make us see what does not exist, and they can also blind us seeing what exists. They can manipulate reality in the visual and auditory field. And be attentive to this message. Saint Vincent Ferrer. The Antichrist will perform other wonders thanks to the power of demons. And this will be true miracles according to the nature of things in themselves, but false according to the definition of miracles, because he will make the images of 1-month-old children to speak. The followers of the Antichrist will ask questions to these statues of children, and they will give answers about the ruler who has come in the end of times, affirming that he is a savior. Well, we know the story. The devil will move their lips and produce the words they will speak when they will declare that the Antichrist is the true savior of the world. So, is this message to be interpreted? It may be well, but an event of this kind can clearly happen. That is, that a painting or a statue begins to speak. The figures in the painting or the statue move, it begins to speak to announce the manifestation of the Antichrist. It can happen. Because, as I told you, these entities have the total dominion over the laws of nature, because a painting that speaks is a sound, is a vibration, and these entities have total dominion over vibrations, over the laws of physics of the nature. In fact, some practical examples to understand: Father Pio was disturbed at night by demonic entities, perhaps you knew this too, and when he slept he heard the curtains tearing, but the curtains had nothing, or he could hear the Cossacks' horses passing by him, but there were no horses. Then, also the mystic of the apparitions of Turcovka in Slovakia. I already mentioned in other meetings the history of these very important apparitions. There were very many wonders. When he entered into the church to pray, what was happening? He began to hear cows and horses walking past him. He heard lowing and heard the horses deep breathing, and there was nothing or no one behind him. Or he heard the baby starting to cry, he heard the woman sobbing, or he heard human beings screaming, but there was no one there. So this is Satan, who can imitate the voice of any person and can also imitate the sound of an animal. These are vibrations. He can do whatever he wants. Jacaré, Brazil, 2018. My children, the 3 days of darkness are very close. The demons will scream. They will call you out of your houses. Carbonia, 2010. Stay calm in your homes and don't open the door to anyone, because the darkness will be on earth and will try to make you open the door to take you away. They will present themselves as your loved ones, as your children, as your brothers. They will knock the door crying desperately, but I tell you, you must not open the door to anyone, because no one will be behind that door of your loved ones. But it will be the evil that will try to enter into your home. Your loved ones will be all safe, because this I promise you, no one of your loved ones will be lost. For your conversion, for your faithfulness, I will save your loved ones. As Saint Paul said, convert, and you and your family will be saved. It's written clearly. So, the demons will imitate the voice of the uncle, the relative, the grandfather, the friend, such and such, during the 3 days of darkness to make you leave the house. Because the voice is a vibration, and as I said, they do with vibrations what they want. Then they will imitate the voice of your loved ones. Carbonia, 2013. This message is important. Beloved children, in the great purification that will now come, all my children will be raised where I will keep them. Cavarzere, Venice, 2007. A selection will soon come of all the people, of all the children of God. Those who have been faithful will be placed with the hosts of angels and taken to heaven, while those who wanted to do their own way, who rejected God in their hearts, they will be in perdition. Jacaré, 2015. You have been chosen to be the generation that will receive the Lord Jesus in glory. You have been chosen to be that holy people who will embrace Him on the clouds of heaven. before the final purification, the return of Christ, there will be the rapture of the elect, that is, human beings will be raised into heaven on these clouds, that is, on these celestial ships. And in Exodus it is written that there is a cloud that emanates a pillar of fire, therefore a pillar of light, as the fire was the only source of light at that times. There was this cloud that sent out a column of light, and the light, in fact, is the element that characterizes the rapture of the elect. The column of light is the element that characterizes the rapture of the elect. Let's see this video.
A huge column of light, rising into the sky, was captured in the city of Sarnia, south of Ontario in Canada, on the night of April 17th. The mysterious beam of energy that emitted an intense red color was photographed by several witnesses from both the American and Canadian sides of the border. And it could have been recorded by the witness named Patricia Forster, who uploaded the video on her YouTube channel, accompanied by her own testimony.
Just across the lake is what we call the Chemical Valley. There are many factories there. Sometimes they burn and it will seem like the sky is on fire, and it is something which we are used to seeing quite frequently.
Similar lights have already been recorded previously, as those observed earlier December 2020 in the town of Tuman, in Russia. From various witnesses, they managed to obtain very clear photographs of the so-called pillars of light. Also, a mysterious column of light appeared on July 24, 2009, projected right above the Kukulkan Pyramid, located on the Yucatan Peninsula. Another column of red light was recorded in Sarnia in southern Canada on the 17th of April. Without a doubt, a mystery.
A unique recording of an event that occurred has gone viral through social networks. On the night of Saturday, September 30th, 2023, when residents of the town of Ludwigsburg, in Germany, were surprised when they had the opportunity to observe a mysterious column of light, on the night of Sunday, September 17, 2023, from the Asian nation of China. Intriguing images of a phenomenon were recorded of the same characteristics. Observe the comparison: two very similar pillars of light, projected by mysterious objects in distant places and times. We have to highlight that it is striking that these demonstrations have been reported very few days apart.
Oh my God, dude, what is that?
This orange light appears and illuminates everything around it. It occurs in an area behind some mountains, where there is nothing, only the field. In the middle, out of nowhere, it appears intermittently.
March 16, 2023. In a depopulated area near the city of Leon, in the state of Guanajuato, the young man named Eduardo Rodriguez managed to record a strange entity, which was floating a few meters away from his vehicle.
The surprising recording was obtained by a motorist when he was driving on a road of the state of Illinois in the United States, on the night of September 10, 2023. In the town of Burbank, in California, United States, during the month of May of the year 2019, a group of residents of the area recorded how in the middle of the darkness, a strange entity was slowly descending towards the urban area.
On the afternoon of Wednesday, August 9, 2023, in the United Kingdom, it was reported the presence of a mysterious humanoid figure. When zooming in closely, we can see that it rotates. and at the same time, it emanates a kind of energy that surrounds it. Due to its characteristics, this case in England reminded us of the one reported during the month of April 2014, in St. Petersburg, Russia, that was recorded with complete clarity, a mysterious and strange entity that moved silently through the sky of this city. The analysis enabled us to establish that it presented enormous similarity with the Orthodox monks of the Russian Church. Observe the comparison. Both were recorded in distant times and places. They expose a great similarity.
What we saw in this video are very, very clear signs, and always look at them from the perspective of Satan is an imitator of God. Okay? We saw in Canada in 2023 this column of light manifested itself, which they filmed from various perspectives, angles, so no one can object it. This very column of light was seen. Then we see this other column of light in other parts of the world. The pillar of light, I repeat, is the sign that characterizes the rapture of the elect. In fact, Bruce Pennington's painting, which represents the rapture of the elect, we can see these columns of light, which are very similar to this here, that they photographed, they filmed in various parts of the world. Then, in China, well, all these shots are recent. We saw this film, these photos. Ask yourself these questions. Why everything in this period? In China, on September 17, 2023, they filmed this column of light, and pay attention, just after 13 days, after a few days, they filmed this column of light on September 30th, 2023 in Argentina. And if you compare them, look at them, apart from the different color, they seem perfectly the same. Then they filmed here at the top right, we see other columns of light. They also filmed this column of light in Russia and this one in America. Then also on the Kukulkan pyramid, in 2019 there is this pillar of light. Let's see the images that represent the rapture of the elect, and there are these columns of light that are very, very similar to those they have photographed and filmed in various parts of the world, almost all over the world. Satan is an imitator of God. Then we see in the images that represent the rapture of the elect, there are human beings who are raised into heaven. And in fact, we have seen humanoid figures flying in the skies in various parts of the world, in many parts of the world. In fact, they filmed this humanoid figure in California 2019, coming down from the sky, and let's say it lands behind this house. This is the roof of this house. Then in León, in Mexico, in 2023, they filmed such humanoid entity. In Illinois, in USA, in 2023, they filmed this human entity. Then also on the top of this mountain, we see such a giant humanoid entity. Also in Japan, in 2012, we see this human figure that flies near the mountain. And in England, in 2023, this humanoid entity manifested itself, which resembles very much, it resembles very much this humanoid entity that manifested itself in Russia in 2014 in St. Petersburg. This human figure that manifested itself in the skies of Russia in 2014 in St. Petersburg is very, very similar to this Orthodox monk of the Russian Church. So as I told you, Russia is also in line with the Antichrist plan. Right? Let's see this other video.
A humanoid entity was captured moving in a straight line and at high altitude over the town of Garden Bridge, north of San Antonio in Texas, in the morning of May 31st. When zooming in and stopping the shot, it is perceived that the entity appears to have a head, torso, and legs, but there is no perceived source of propulsion or any other device that could help it flying. A mysterious flying entity with a humanoid shape captured over the city of Pensacola, Florida, on November 5, 2021, can see clearly having head, arms, torso, and legs, and being recorded in the city of Mississauga, in Ontario, on August 22nd of that same year. At the rear, you can see what appears to be some kind of backpack.
Finally, it was possible to document on a video the presence of a flying entity, which descended in the maneuvering area of the city's airport. On August 20, 2021 in the city of San Antonio in Texas, United States, it was recorded by skywatcher Mario Vallejo, who captured an entity with humanoid appearance, moving through the sky, on a strange structure that is at its feet. The witness states that the entity had the appearance of a big person, and that it always maintained the same speed and travel trajectory. By analyzing the images, we can verify that the silhouette does indeed exhibit humanoid-type characteristics.
On September 16, 2021, a motorist who was traveling on a highway near the city of São Paulo in Brazil captured a video through a camera installed in its car.
This brief interesting recording was reported on Tuesday, March 7, 2023, and was obtained somewhere in the Asian nation of China. In it we can observe with complete clarity how a mysterious silhouette that has been identified as humanoid type is suspended in the air at the same time that a strong electrical storm is occurring.
A strange presence with a humanoid shape and emanating an intense white light was captured, flowing over Lago Piuelo, in the west of Argentine Patagonia, on June 14. The recording was broadcast by the local press site Noticias del Bolsón, who indicated that the images were recorded by the renowned local photographer, Nito Cortez, the afternoon of same Monday the 14th, when he was taking shots of the lake of water. The video shows what appears to be a plasma body, which at times resembles a standing person, floating on the surface of the lake.
We saw in this very important video some human angelic figures, humanoids of light, who manifested themselves in imitation of the scriptures. In imitation of the scriptures. In fact, in Argentina, in 2021, they saw this humanoid entity of light who walked on a lake exactly like Jesus. Matthew 14. And in the fourth watch of the night he came to them walking on the sea. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." Satan is an imitator of God. In fact, I repeat, we saw in Argentina in 2021 a humanoid entity of plasma, of light, energy that walks on the waters of the lake in Argentina. And Jesus also walked on the waters and he too emanated light, because he walked on the waters during the night and made himself seen by the apostles. So he also emanated light, as we see in this image. Daniel 10. As I was standing on the bank of the great river, that is the Tigris, I looked up, and there before me was a man dressed in linen, with a belt of fine gold from Hapas around his waist. His body was like topaz, his face like lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze. Well, that is, in the sacred texts, it is written that angels manifest themselves, which emanate light, have a shiny appearance, have a body of light, and Satan is an imitator of God. In fact, in these very last years, humanoid entities of light, plasma, light, have manifested themselves, as we saw in Brazil in 2023, this human entity of light. Then we saw in Brazil, Sao Paulo, again a few months ago, it all happened a few months ago, this sort of humanoid entity surrounded by these lightnings. Then we saw here in China such an entity, humanoid entity, which is surrounded by lightning and bolts here too. These lightning and bolts passed around it. Look at these images too, and we see that all these lightning and bolts depend on this humanoid entity present in the sky. This humanoid entity emanates lightning, right? And I told you before that the elite have weapons in the hands that emit lightning. In fact, the spaceship that destroyed the Russian trucks in Ukraine sent out this lightning that actually tore the Russian trucks to pieces. Make these connections. Isaiah 60. Let's reread again it for a moment. Who are these that fly along like clouds, like doves to their nests? That is, in the sacred texts, I repeat, who are they? There are human figures that fly in the skies, and Satan is an imitator of God, and in fact we see that in the last few years they have filmed human figures that fly. They actually fly in the sky. In Texas in 2023 they saw this humanoid entity with a kind of backpack on his shoulders flying in the sky. Then in Canada in 2021 they saw this humanoid figure, this hologram with a kind of a flying platform underneath, flying right in the sky. It moved, it flew in the sky. And in Canada in 2021 we saw a humanoid figure. Here too it seems like it has a backpack behind which flies. It's flying in the sky, and also here near an airport we saw this human figure flying. It flew in the sky. It flew. It moved. So all these signs They are very clear, they are evident, they are preparing the Blue Beam project, they are doing it. So now, let's make a summary, a glimpse of what I told you, of the power that the Antichrist will manifest. I made a summary in 2 slides, which I'm going to show you now. Secure these 2 slides when you are at home, when you see this video on YouTube, take a screenshot of these slides, which I'm showing you. The manifestation of the Antichrist will take place with the collaboration of the Illuminati and with the technology developed in the sacred bases. The Antichrist will manifest himself as a Messiah with the collaboration of fake aliens, human clones created in the secret bases, and not robots. Not robots, As I spoke about it last time and also asked to Sylvia, you all be aware that I have to speak about certain topics and they are big topics, and I put my face to it, so I would like confirmations, and she told me, the angel said that I confirmed that there are these human clones. I told you about that last time. Watch the earlier video on my channel about the Blue Beam project. The Antichrist will manifest himself with spaceships. That is, near the manifestation of the Antichrist, the spaceships created in the secret bases with anti-gravity propulsion will be seen that launch laser bolts, which destroy and pulverize houses and buildings. Then, in the battle along the Blue Beam project, we will see holograms in the sky, humanoid entities that can shoot actual lightning from the sky and walk on waters, and humans lifted into the sky by spaceships. There will be archaeological discoveries to deceive humanity that will create sounds in the sky similar to the trumpets of the apocalypse and telepathic rapture. Beware, do not become transceiver antennas. That is, we saw recently that in the broth there were, tuned radios that receive information and also transmit information, okay? The Antichrist will manifest himself with the collaboration of the legions of Satan, the demons, demonic entities. Demons can alter the laws of physics, alter our visual and auditory perception. I've shown you various examples. They can make us hear voices of friends, relatives, animal noises, and related sounds. They can infest structures, that is, the infestation cases. They can move objects, absorb magnetic fields, turn lights on and off, make people feel fragrances, perfumes, and smells. This is the most important step. Listen to it, please. Demons influence the minds of men, even to the Marians. Look at the signs. Look at the signs and the gospel. The Marian messages. Don't listen to men. Don't listen to them. Some Marian says, God will not allow this. Letter of St. Paul to the Thessalonians 2. The unjust man, the son of perdition, must be revealed, pointing to himself as God. Is that clear? So, let's see what they are preparing. The wicked one whose coming will come in the power of Satan, with all sorts, with all kinds of portents, signs, and lying wonders. I read it again. He will manifest himself with all kinds of portents, signs, and lying wonders. and he will manifest himself as a God. He will point to himself as he is a God before humanity. Do you realize what is happening? And with every kind of wicked deception. And for this, every kind of wicked deception. So God will cause them to be greatly deceived, and they will believe these lies, and so that all will be condemned who have not believed the truth, but have delighted in wickedness. I repeat, God sends them the power of deception, so he allows that to happen. So it is written, the son of perdition will manifest himself as a God, as a divinity. So they must prepare a huge science fiction world scenario. They are making a big deal. In fact, it is written it will manifest itself with all sorts of wonders, portents, and deceptions. Because God will allow it. Because God wants to make a selection of humanity. Because God wants to purify this humanity. We understand the reasons well. We know the reasons well. So, when anyone will say to you, I'm actually saying so because I've been already attacked, to coin a phrase, oh, but God won't allow this. When they tell you God won't allow this, show them this passage. Show them also this video. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Then, when I make these videos, it's not that I want to bother you, but I beware to you. You do take notes, then ponder, ask yourselves questions, that is, why the Russian trucks destroyed by this lightning sent out by a spaceship were destroyed exactly like the cars on the island of Maui, affected by this fire, that is, by these laser beams. Why? Why are these pillars of light manifesting? Not only in America, also in Russia, even in China. Why these pillars of light? Why are these humanoid entities appearing in various parts of the world? I repeat, not only in America, also in Russia, even in China. Why all over the world? Because there are some entities, humanoid entities that emanate lightning bolts, electric storms. Why? I told you, because the Bluebeam project is manifesting itself. And I organized all the information for you. I put everything in order for you. I have grouped all these signs for you. When there is order, we understand it better. So, in order not to be deceived, put two pieces in your head. That is, number one, when Jesus returns, the powerful will not praise him. And two, anyone in these times that will tell you that Jesus did not die on the cross for us, and who tells you that Jesus is not the true Messiah, that source comes from the Antichrist, even though he comes from the universe. But that comes from the Antichrist, even though he says he's coming from the universe. That comes from the Antichrist. So put these two pieces in your head, fix them, do actual deeds of charity, help those in need, do actions, always actions, deeds, and do this great work of charity, spread the truth, because this is an extremely necessary form of charity in these times. It's the most important. So, I ask you, spreading this video, I ask for a translation of this video into various languages, because you understand it too. With all the signs that I've shown you, I think it is right to translate this video into various languages. And if you contact me for translating this video into various languages, I ask you to be serious. That is, if you candidate yourself to translate, then do the work afterwards, okay? That's all. I've said everything, dear friends, and I thank you. That's all for today. Thank you very much.
Grazie.